thank you all so much for being here to the first ever Collegetown class. CLASS is an acronym like everything else in the higher education world. It is the Civic Leadership Alumni Skillshare for members of the Collegetown Civic Leadership Alumni cohort community, as well as friends of the organization. So all of you fall into that very broad category. These events are designed to create connection in this crazy COVID world that we're all living in and highlight the skills of the awesome members of that aforementioned community. So we are kicking off with Kirsten Brinley, Executive Director of Baltimore Collegetown Network, who has supported this brainchild of mine so much so that she's our first ever hostess. So without further ado, I am so excited to turn it over to KB, collage and craft extraordinaire, to lead us through today's session. Have fun, everybody.
Yay! Oh my gosh, it is so good to see everyone. Oh, I'm so excited. I made a slideshow, so I'm going to go over a couple slides and then we will just run down of agenda. We'll set an intention for our collage time. We will have about 30 minutes or so. I'm going to aim for 30 minutes of like actual crafting, and then we'll have a chance to like wrap up and go from there. So I'm going to share my slides. All right, it's cool because I have my phone on. I will also show you my collage setup in just a little bit, which is why I have my phone logged in as well. So I get to see what you all see as well, which is great. So creating a collage journal, a little bit about me. I really love to see things grow. This is a picture of me when I'm probably like 2.5, 3, gardening. I'm sure I'm doing a great job. Obviously I look like I'm doing a great job and know what I'm doing. And I really think of my collage journaling practice as another way to grow. I'm a big journaler with words, but sometimes words aren't enough or words don't feel right. So I started collage journaling as like a practice in 2017 after I took an online course about tapping into intuition, which is definitely, you know, on the woo-woo spectrum, but it really helped me have another way of like self-expression beyond words. My love of paper products and expression through collage goes way, way back. In high school, I did work at a scrapbooking store, which was such a fun job. And then in my late 20s, I reconnected to collage through my friend Maria, who also really loves collage and had, you know, been doing some version of collage also from high school and beyond, you know, whether that's working on yearbook or just having it as part of her art practice as well. So that is kind of a little bit about why I do collage. I also love quotes. So throwing in this Maya Angelou quote, open your eyes to the beauty around you, open your mind to the wonders of life, open your heart to those who love you, and always be true to yourself. And I think this is another philosophical reason of why I collage. It's really about an opening and being kind of receptive to what comes up during the process. And so I hope that you all are ready for that, because what I would like to do is set an intention. So if you can, I can't see you, but if you want to, you know, mute your camera, feel free to do that, and just get kind of comfy in your seat. And I want you to, really sit down and kind of ground in your seat, close your eyes maybe, and think about, for the next hour, really tuning into the here and now, to this present moment, knowing that the text messages that you're getting, the emails that you're getting, they can wait an hour. And also, you know, in an hour from now, you might be in a better state of mind, right? You might be more in tune with your true self, your higher self, your more creative self. And ultimately, that's probably a better place to respond from. So allowing the distractions to just kind of be out of your line of sight for the next hour so that you can really dive into this practice of collage journaling. And I want you to think about, you know, what you're looking to gain out of today's experience. What do you hope to find? And then set an intention for your time with us today. I'll give you a minute or so to kind of sit and think about what you're looking for and what you hope to get out of today's session. Once you've let your intention land, if you feel like it, you can share it in the chat, or you can just hold on to it, and that's fine too, whatever feels right. And then also just a note on processing. We won't do all of it. We won't process to the very bottom of whatever it is that you're wanting to collage on today. We only have an hour and really only 30 minutes of creating. So come back to it. And I'm giving you tools, and I hope that they will be helpful on your journey ahead. But just know that collage journaling is one method, one tool, and a lot of different ways that you can process. So creating a collage journal, or creating a collage just in general, I am curious, does anyone not have a journal? Is anyone without a journal today? Because I can also show you how to make a zine. Is anyone interested in making a zine? I can show you how to do that too. Just raise your hand if you are. Okay, cool. All right, I'll cover that once we get into the creative process, and I'll show you how to do that. But I'll get through these slides first. Okay, so gather your materials, focus your gaze, seek to delight and surprise, curate and compose. Those are kind of the 4 parameters for collage journaling that made me, or that like I go by whenever I do this, and like also kind of came to me as like, oh, this is my process. When I was putting together the notes for the class, I just collage journal, I just do it. And so I had to kind of like slow down my process and be like, wait, what do I actually do whenever I do make collages? So first you have to get comfy and cozy. So this is a picture of my dog, Willie, who is right here, comfy and cozy. Dramatic pan. And this is not a staged picture at all. He actually puts pillows together like that regularly for maximum comfort. So I encourage all of you to be like Willie today. Find a spot where you can spread out, set up pillows, blankets, snuggies, slippers, etc. Be comfy. Hopefully you have a favorite beverage with you. I've got my tea and water, and then I also have the playlist for you all, which I will put on for myself as well. And I have a candle burning in the background, actually one that Molly just gave me we did a little staff get together. So that is my comfy cozy setup. Everybody's got their mugs, their drinks, excellent. And like if you can hear me as I'm talking, feel free to get up, move around. Like you don't need to be glued to the slides. I'm gonna say everything that's on them. A note about materials. They can really be anything. So if you have a journal, that's great. If you have loose paper, I will show you how to make a zine here in just a second. Scissors are helpful, but not necessary, because you can also use your hands for tearing different pieces that you're finding. Glue is great for adhering things. Magazines, newspapers, catalogs, great places to find content. Post-its. So this top left picture is actually Post-its that I just cut up and placed. So no glue necessary for that, just 4 different colored Post-it notes that I cut up into different shapes. Pressed flowers, yarn, old fabric photos, and then also for my collage today, I wanted to do some watercolor. So I had a scrap piece of watercolor paper that I painted beforehand. Grab it real quick. So I'm going to talk about this in a second, but I'm going to do like a color theme for mine. So this is kind of like the colors of my life, like earthy neutrals. So I did that ahead of time. If you have watercolors handy and you want to do some watercolor, I would say do that first so it can dry. I did this probably at like 9:45 this morning. So it is dry and ready to use. So if you want to use that, I would do that first thing. And then this other picture that I put on here is, I think it's just colored pencil that I like scribbled on paper and cut up and used and glued into my notebook and pen. So you can also do that as well. Focusing your gaze. So this is what I was talking about with color. It really helps to pick one of these elements, whether it's shape, color, theme, words, to give a little focus to your collage. So typically when I'm sitting down to do a collage journal, I would get out all my materials that I'm wanting to work with. And I do have a box of like pre-cut stuff, because sometimes I sit down and I'm like, I just want to cut things and like find later down the line inspiration. And I'll pick up maybe a quote that I see or an image, and then I'll go from there. So if you have an image in your materials that you're like, yes, I want to build off of that, like you pick one thing and use that as a base. You can also use shape as a base. Like I have one collage that I'll show you in just a little bit that's all rectangles. So, and it was also color too. So I was like, I want to do color of the sunset rectangle, and built a collage from there. You can also do themes. I have a series of 2-page, like open the book 2-page spreads where I was like, I really want to look at like balance and like a whole spread of a journal page. And then sometimes words too. So I did a collage for my word of the year, which I think is in the collage folder as well. So you can also use words as your theme as well. Yep. Okay, here we go. So this one on the left is a theme. This is my 2020 in my planner. So my word for 2020 was light. I pick a word every year. So these have elements of light, but then also just like things that I want as part of my year. So sunsets, Willie, pressed flowers, pictures of flowers, all sorts of things that I just was like, this is what I want to curate for my 2020 year. And then this collage on the right is more about the words. So I saw this phrase, stretching a little into a lot. And this is one that I did in April of 2020, where I was feeling super, super stretched by the pandemic. And I just wanted to kind of like tap into that. So I found these up in the top, these little yoga pose men, and then also these like sculpture images on top of this like outdoor patio thing. I get the New York Times magazine, so I think that's where most of these things are from. But it just felt a little chaotic, and like I was stretching a little into a lot into this space. So that was kind of the theme for that one, using the words. And then not everything that you pick and place in your collage will make sense right away. So I encourage you to come back to it and look at it in maybe 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and see if there's some patterns that arise. I'm gonna X out of these slides in just a second and show you some other examples, and then we'll get to creating. But sometimes you just pick stuff because it feels right and you don't really know why, and then it comes to you later. So there's no wrong way to do this. You don't have to have a super focused point of view going into it. It really just is what feels right. So listen to what feels right and do what feels right. Okay, so we are gonna stop that and we're gonna go to my setup. I have my cell phone here. Okay, start video. Nice and up close. Okay, so here's my setup. And I've got my box of pre-picked out stuff. It's my collage journal. I have some yarn and my watercolors. And then I have a bag of dried flowers, a bag of words. This is kind of what I'm going to be working from today. I have some yarn that I picked out, and then kind of like my watercolor. This image is like what I want to work with. And then coming over here, these 3 collages at the bottom I did at the end of 2019. And then this is the one that I was talking about that was all rectangles. And again, I like found this quote, "It's time to deal with your enemies," which to me was really more about like inner work. And so that's like, there's like a tiger on this one, and the colors are bright, and it just felt right. And then I also have, I'm showing how you can use it in an actual journal. So we did this class as a staff called Hi-Fi, and I have a little collage that like kicks off the book. We were encouraged to do that, and it's all kind of nature-y things, again, pressed flowers, and then nature's change is kind of like the theme for this one. You can go ahead and get started on your collage work. And if you are, if you're interested in the zine, I'm going to show you on this computer, on my laptop computer, but otherwise you can go ahead and get started on your collage. Okay, so if you want to make a little zine, take a regular sheet of paper. I usually fold it hot dog style first to get the lines. Oh, hot dog, long and skinny. Then open it back up, and then you want to fold in like this. So you take like a modified hamburger. So you take your hot dog that you just made, and you fold in 1/2 like that, 1/2 like that. So now you have it folded like this. And then you want to fold it one more time to make a little skinny hot dog. So you have, again, you open it up all the way, you have folded it in like this, and then fold it one more time like that. And then get a pair of scissors, and you're going to cut these middle 2 lines right here. So usually I fold it up like this. So again, I'm kind of like, here's the point to where I'm cutting. I'm going to cut like that. So now I have a little flappy flap. And then you take it back out, fold it, hot dog, and then do this with it. Make a little, I don't know what this is, almost like an asterisk. And then you have a little book. And you can collage in that too. If you don't, again, if you don't have a journal, or if you want to like save a journal, and this could be like a good practice or whatever. And these are fun to make them all the time. All right, I am going to start collaging alongside you all. It is 10:57. I'll do a check-in at probably like 12 after, and then we will, after the check-in, we'll probably do another 5 minutes or so and then wrap up. Can keep on working. I'm just saying hi, a little halfway check-in. We are about, we have about 20 minutes left. So I'll let you keep working for about 10. We'll come back together at 11:20 for wrap up. So if you, I'm at the gluing stage, but if you're not there, and if you don't get to glue today, that's fine. But just wanted to let you know that we have about 10 minutes left. All right. You can continue working, but we are going to come back. So now that we are coming to the last 10 minutes of our time together, I want to do a one-word check-in, and I want to know what the experience was like with you, how you're feeling, what are you noticing. So a one-word or a one-phrase check-in, and we can go around the Zoom room. If you just want to quickly unmute yourself, say your check-in. Another Zoom trick that I learned is if you hold the space bar down, it does a temporary unmute, which is a little bit less cumbersome than trying to click the button for whatever reason. So if you want to do just a quick check-in, how you're feeling, what you're noticing after you've spent the last 30 minutes or so collaging.
Feel more relaxed. At first it's a little stressed trying to pick a theme, but more relaxed once I got into it.
I agree. That's my word too, is relaxed.
Oh, I feel pretty reset. That was much needed.
I was thinking reset too, and it's more relaxed, just being able to kind of have a creative outlet. So it was nice to kind of like shut my brain off for a minute.
Energized.
My word is still active.
Active? Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think I love hearing your reflections. I often feel some of the same things that you all said, of like, really, it allows me to turn off, not my brain completely, but it's like it turns off that busy mind of like, I gotta respond to something, I gotta do something, and it like slows things down in a way where I can really be present with what I'm doing. And I love that about collage journaling. I will also ask you to put a date on this too, because it's helpful to look back at other collages that you've done, because I've noticed that I will typically do like 6 to 7 collages in one sitting, because I get into that kind of meditative collage state, and then I won't touch it for a few months like that. If you look at my collage journal, it's like 7 in July, 8 in April, and there's like nothing in between, right? I'll do like one-off collages, but that's something that I've noticed about my practice too, of like, I'll have seasons where I'll do a whole lot and then I'll put it down and then come back to it. So that is something that I've noticed as well. So if you feel like you can keep going and you want to keep going, I would totally encourage that. All right, wrapping up. Does anybody want to show their collage? Okay, cool. Let me stop my share and then we'll come back. Anybody want to show? Hold up to the screen.
Oh, that's really nice, Kay. Can you put it a little closer?
Ooh, I like the textures. Nice. Anybody else want to share? Oh, let me pin you, Maddie. Oh, synchronized swimming. I love it. I used to do flow movement way back. Okay, let me pin. I'll do mine. This is the one I did. Again, I'm really into this 2-page spread life. And so I used this is my watercolor. This is the first time I've ever used yarn. So that was an adventure. Anybody else?
I can show mine. I started to gravitate towards like words. So my top, like I was supposed to get married this year. So I was like gravitating towards like all the wedding stuff. And then this is like 2020. Wow, so I have a lot to fill in. But I guess it's backwards because of the screen, but you get the idea.
Yeah, and I would also, I typically don't do this in my collage journals, but going back and like writing like an actual journal entry with words, I think could be a really good practice too. It's just something that I don't do still. I don't have examples to show, but I think that could be a good way to like revisit a collage, journal about it, and do a little processing.
I love it.
I know we only have a couple minutes, so I want to make sure that I hand this off on time. So thank you all for participating, for making and creating with me this morning. You all know how to stay in touch with me. You already have all this information, so please do. Email, Baltimore Collegetown website, and my phone number. And I will turn it over to Maddie to take us home.
Great. Thank you so much, KB. That was so much fun. I am like you, Anna, that everything kind of exists in one notebook. So I'm excited to see how many collages I do from here. And everybody else, if you have, pictures of these and want to send them to me to be featured in class promo, let me know. With that, because we are continuing this series. This is the first of several classes that we're hosting throughout the semester. We have a full lineup coming up in October. I dropped the link in there for registration for those events. They span in all kinds of interest areas and topics. I invite you, if you participated today, to host a class. It is a easy process to sign up. KB can vouch. It is a simple Google form, and whatever you are passionate about, we want to hear about it. So if it's baking bread, if it's environmental biology, if it's, writing a blog about your self-care journey, I want to hear about it. Those were specific plugs to each and every one of you in this room, not the Collegetown staff, but whatever you want to host a class about, we welcome it, we encourage it. And I also encourage filling out my post-event survey that will come to you tomorrow. We'll love to hear your thoughts about the structure of these events and how they can be improved moving forward. Like I said, they are brand new and they are continuing. So how can we make the next one better? And how can we, take what we learned today on September 19th? September 29th? Oh my, and use it for our October and November and December events and continuing on into the spring semester. So with that, we are ending 10 seconds ahead of time. Time travel is real. What is time? Okay, what is it? I thank you all again so much for being here. If I can get a screenshot of everybody smiling as my last final thing, I almost forgot. To say, hey, or hold up your collage or whatever. I want a gallery view. Thank you, Dahlia. Turn on that beautiful camera. Control-Alt-4. Hey now, smile. Everybody looks great. I'm just gonna do thumbs up. Great. Thank you all so much. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, the 29th of September. Okay. See ya.